What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and that's the last time I'm saying that in the year 2022, because barring anything absolutely insane happening with the Red Sox, this is going to be our last video of the 2022 year. And I just want to take a second and say thank you to everyone. 2022 was such an amazing time for this channel, and I can't wait to see what 2023 brings. But before we get to 2023, there is one more thing we need to talk about, because yesterday the San Diego Padres announced that they may be putting two of their MLB current roster players onto the trading block. The first one of those players is Trent Grisham. Now, Trent Grisham is a fantastic center fielder. He's one of the game's best defensive center fielders. The problem with Trent Grisham is that over his career, he's been a bit up and down in terms of his bat. So he may be a decent option for the Red Sox if they're looking to do another year with a defensive first outfielder, but that's not who this video is about. The topic of this video is Ha-Seong Kim, a shortstop for the San Diego Padres that has been rumored to have been put onto the trading block. So what we're going to do today is we are going to talk about Ha-Seong Kim, talk about why he may be a possible target for this Red Sox team. We're going to go over his statistics, his personality, everything like that, see if he's a fit for this Red Sox team. We're going to talk about what it might take to get him here, and ultimately try and decide if this would be a good move for the Red Sox or not. But before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button. It helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. For those of you who may not remember, Kim actually already has a connection with this Red Sox team that dates all the way back to before he was in Major League Baseball. In the offseason of 2020, Kim was eligible for MLB, and one of the teams that was really in on Ha-Seong Kim was the Boston Red Sox. Now, they had been rumored to be talking to him, been one of the top teams to attract him to their team, sign him to a Major League ready contract, but obviously he ended up with the Padres. There has also been a rumor that the Red Sox have already reached out to San Diego earlier before they put him on the trading block about trading for Kim. So there already is a connection with the Red Sox right off the bat, and he seems like a guy the Red Sox are pretty high on bringing in. Since being on the Padres, though, he's had a bit of ups and downs throughout his really small career. He made his Major League debut in 2021, and that year was a bit tough for him at the plate. He finished 2021 with a 202 average, a 270 on base percentage, and just a 352 slug with a 72 OPS plus, which is obviously well below league average, about 28% below league average to be exact. However, he did turn things around at the plate for himself in 2022, which ended up being a much better season. Now, that could be because the sample size is bigger. In 2021, he only had 267 at-bats, and in 2022, he had a much larger sample size at 517 at-bats. Either way, in those at-bats in 2022, Ha-Seong Kim finished with a 251 average, a much higher on base percentage at 325 compared to the just 270 he hit in 2021. He did have a bit of a higher slug, 383, and he finished with a much higher OPS plus at 107. So what's really impressive about Ha-Seong Kim's production in 2022 compared to 2021 is that in one season he went from being statistically 28% less productive than the average hitter in baseball to being 7% more productive than the average hitter in baseball. That is a huge gap. But the big question with Ha-Seong Kim's offense is whether or not 2022 is what we should expect from Kim, or if 2021 is what we should expect from Kim. There is a chance that either 2021 or 2022 was a fluke. Now, you have to remember he did come over from Korea, so 2021 could have been an adjustment period for Ha-Seong Kim. But the biggest question with his offense is what to expect from Kim going forward. If we take a look at his Baseball Savant page, it could help answer some of those questions, because there are things on there that may help figure out whether or not he can be a productive hitter going forward and what you can expect. Taking a look at his page here, he has a couple of things that stand out. His K percentage is really low compared to the rest of the league. He doesn't whiff a lot compared to the rest of the league again, and his chase rates are also pretty low compared to the rest of the league as well. Those are all things that indicate that he is slowly developing a real eye in the strike zone and becoming a harder hitter to strike out, which in turn puts the ball in play more, puts you on base more, and means that there could be a trend for Kim to be able to improve upon that 2022 season, or at the very least replicate those numbers. Now, there are obviously concerns with his baseball savant page, and most of it comes in the power department. Kim has never been really known as a power hitter, but if you take a look at his page, he is towards the bottom of the league in a lot of the categories that power hitters would normally be at the top of. So there is that on his baseball savant page as well. The fact that he may not be a power hitter anytime soon. One thing that is not a question mark about Kim's game though, and has never really been called into question, is his defense. He played most of his games at shortstop in 2022, where he was in the 95th percentile for outs above average, meaning that only 5% of the league was better defensively than Ha-Seong Kim last season, and that is absolutely fantastic news. The other good news about Kim is bringing him to this Red Sox team would allow Trevor Story to stay at second base, which I personally think is a great idea. The biggest question though is whether or not he would be a good fit for Boston and what it would take for Boston to get him here. The biggest thing to look at in whether or not he's a fit for Boston is what Boston is trying to do this offseason. With every offensive addition they've made, there's been one particular pattern or reoccurrence in those signings, and it's guys who are really hard to strike out, who put the ball in play a lot, and are guys who have a really good idea of the strike sound. Now, we just went over Ha-Seong Kim's baseball savant page where it talked about how he's a bit of a harder guy to strike out in baseball. He doesn't whiff a lot, he doesn't chase a lot, he's got a little bit of speed, which we did not talk about, and all of those things, if the Red Sox truly believe that Ha-Seong Kim can repeat the 2022 season or even build upon that 2022 season, fits the mold that Boston's trying to create right now perfectly. On top of that too, he is a right-handed hitter, which the Red Sox have a little bit of a scarcity of in this lineup right now, especially when it comes to guys who can be a true impact. Now, the problem with Ha-Seong Kim is he's not going to bring a lot of power to the Boston Red Sox, and right now that is something that the Red Sox are desperately missing. If you take a look at the Red Sox lineup right now as it stands, it's more than likely that the Red Sox are going to need a guy who can hit in that 3 or 4 hole, a guy who can either hit above or behind Rafi, get Rafi better at bats, and really bring a power element to this Red Sox lineup. Ha-Seong Kim is not going to be that guy. He is going to be a guy who gets on base a lot though, and that is something that I assume the Red Sox have been truly focusing on based on what their past signings have looked like. So in my opinion, yeah, he does fit the mold for the Red Sox, but is he the only move the Red Sox should make for the rest of the offseason? No. I think even if you get him in here, you are going to still need to bring in some sort of power bat in some sort of position. Now, what would it take to get Kim onto this Red Sox team? Well, there are a couple ways you can look at it. I used MLB trade values, which again, I always say this, it isn't the most accurate thing in the entire world, but it's a really good place to start when trying to figure out the value of a player. And they had 2 separate ways for the Red Sox to do this. You could go and trade Houck for Kim straight up, 1 for 1. Their values are about the same, so they wouldn't really need any other attachments or anything like that. So that is option 1, Houck for Kim straight up. The other one is the Red Sox put together a prospect package for Kim, which could end up working out better for the Padres in the long run, but let's talk about the actual package itself first. So what I put together was a package of Duran, Kofi, and Paulino. Now, I always say this when we're talking about trades, but this isn't who I think the exact trade package for Kim would look like when it comes to prospects. I just like to put out some guys who people know the relative value of so they can try and figure out a trade on their own. So it's a value of somewhere in those 3 guys. And in my opinion, if you're taking a look at these 2 trades, the one that benefits the Red Sox the most is the prospects, right? You're not giving up anyone crazy. Sure, some of these guys could be good, but they're none of your blue chip prospects, and you're not losing a talent like Tanner Houck to bring in a guy like Kim, because in my opinion, that would sort of even itself out. You're losing Houck in the bullpen, but you're gaining Kim in that lineup, and I think that sort of evens itself out. So in my opinion, I would go with the prospects, and for the Padres as well, it makes a lot of sense because they've really depleted their prospects in the last couple of off seasons. So in my opinion, I would go option number 2, but those are both options to get Kim on this Red Sox team. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think of the Red Sox possibly targeting Ha-Seong Kim to bring onto this Red Sox team? Do you like the idea? Do you not like the idea? And what type of package would you guys put together to get Kim here if you want him here? Let me know all your thoughts on this topic down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Plus, you made it to the end here, you might as well hit that sub button. Also, make sure you guys hit the like button on this video as well. It helps out a ton and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all for clicking on this video and clicking on all these videos in 2022. It has been absolutely incredible. Here is to a much better 2023, and I will see you all in the red seat.